Hey everyone, and welcome back. Our last guest is a singer-songwriter from the Bronx who's known for his captivating music, and for the past 8 years he's performed all over the city, both as a solo act and with his band in venues such as Arlene's Grocery, the Shrine, and most notably the Apollo. And now he's here to talk about his new single and upcoming album, Something Real. Please welcome Durieux. Hello.
Rhina, how are you?
I just love the way the name rolls off of my
I appreciate that.
Oh, it's so good to see you. I mean, be with you, we should say.
Yes,
right?
yes. Same.
And, I'm mentioning all these amazing venues, but not all of them have reopened. And, inquiring minds want to know, how you been throughout the pandemic?
Well, before the pandemic, we were planning to release this album in 2020. We had a whole Midwest tour planned out, and then due to the pandemic, it was all canceled. At the beginning of the pandemic, I actually had COVID, and it was a very challenging time. Being inside, not feeling any kind of motivation. I did try to find the motivation and the spark, like doing little online shows and stuff like that, but it just wasn't the same as being in the space with people. So
Right.
For 3-4 months, I didn't touch my guitar. I bought a bike. I was riding bike everywhere, trying to clear my mind. I went into therapy. Therapy did me very well, and I took the time. A lot of artists took the time to create. I took the time to really find myself and hone in on my mental health.
I get it, especially after contracting it. Did you get it severely? Was it a long recovery for you?
Luckily, it was not a long recovery. I mean, I was in bed for about 10 days. It was early. It was during the early stages where they were telling you they didn't really have the test out yet. So they were saying, hey, if you have these symptoms and you're young and your lungs are cleared, don't go to the hospital, because if you go, you're either going to give it to someone or you're going to contract it. So just go home and rest.
Rest. Got it. And so, fast forward into 20 months later, I know you just recently did a presentation with the Caribbean Cultural Center, Afribembe. So, as New York has reopened per se, and hopefully we remain that way, was that your first big event, meaning big as an audience size?
It was I would say it was the biggest as far as production, where it was big stage, lots of speakers, full band, and it was very strange, being outside, being with those people, being able to see those faces. It was a really great experience, but it's also you can't throw caution to the wind because of it.
I wanted to know what that was like for you, right? Because I'm getting this energy from you right now, just in our conversation, that you're still acclimating to being back to with people, and being out with people, and being out performing live presentations. I'm just picking that up from the way you're sharing your story.
Yeah, I mean, you're stuck inside for a year and a half. You do tend to lose. So it's adjusting to being social again, how to communicate with people, how to what's the right thing now? Do we shake hands? Do we just wave? Say hello from a distance, even though we're vaccinated? It's still an adjustment period. And I mean, it's still great to feel that energy in the room. And just be with people in a space that's creative, because the one thing I will say is doing these performances, you can tell that this is what people want.
Right.
They want to be out. They want to feel part of the experience.
Well, it's
yearning for music.
It's different. It's different to feel it than it is virtually. Were you performing a lot virtually? I mean, I know you said it took you a certain amount of period to you shut it down, and you were just being to yourself and doing whatever mental wellness you felt you needed, and bike riding and being outdoors, and really honing in on yourself, and I guess your direction, right? Because I think if there's anything that this pandemic has done is it has definitely placed us in this position of questioning what really matters.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's about, as New Yorkers, we're always on the go, and we were forced to slow down. Because when we're constantly on the go, we neglect things that we need to pay attention to. And that really, that whole thing of being forced to slow down made me realize I had to pay attention to a lot of things that I just completely ignored or missed. And one of those is like not taking advantage of the fact that, being in a room with people and playing shows is like, you never know when you're going to be able to do it again. The online shows were great. There were times that I did shows at the beginning of pandemic where it was still a great experience, like being in a Zoom link and seeing all those faces. But it wasn't the same as like physically being in the room and feeling that energy.
Absolutely, absolutely. But in hindsight, now you've got a new album coming out that I'm sure has additional meaning behind it based on its its creative period, right? The time capsule in which it was developed. So before we go, let's talk about it because I know you're going to give us a taste of one of the songs.
Yes. So Something Real I wrote. It's a combination of an acoustic EP that I did back in 2018 called Hinge, which is an acronym for Have I Not Given Enough. And that was another like piece that I did where I was reflecting on my mental health and, trying to find myself a little more. But there's some other songs that talk about, on the album, Something Real, where it's like, I have a song that talks about not letting your day job to like hinder you with finding your dream, and dealing with situations where people are talking about you, spreading rumors that are not true when they don't really know the real story.
Right.
And just revisiting that acoustic EP with the full band this is probably one of my most proud works, especially with the guys that I'm working with now. It's been a really good experience, regardless of the fact that like some of it was recorded at home during pandemic and half of it was done in the studio, but it definitely holds to the essence of the name of Something Real.
That's what's up. That is so what's up. And thanks for bringing it here to our viewers. And, I really want to acknowledge you for your transparency and just really putting your mental wellness at the forefront and not feeling ashamed to talk about it, right? Because I think that in essence, in some aspect, is what makes us artists, is that mind of knowing that it needs to be tended to, and then you use your artistry as your outlet. So I'm so excited that we had this conversation and that you were able to create this musical masterpiece that we're about to experience. Everyone, Durieux! Woo!
Thank you so much.
All right, so we do have to take a quick break, and but when we return, Durieux is going to perform for us, so don't go anywhere.